Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to the Winning Drive, the prime time edition. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by fellow lifetime Longhorn, but he's also a national champion. My man Marcus Myers is joining us. Also, lifetime Longhorn, the young prodigy himself, CJ Vogel. Coach is still out, obviously, dealing with the family right now, making sure he's there for the family. He'll be back. He texted the group and wanted to know, hey, guys, I'm coming back. But, he's got some stuff that obviously he's got to handle. So for those who are thinking about Coach, he appreciates it. Appreciate the well wishes and all the prayers for the family as well, because we'll get to any updates about Jordan, but just in case people want to know, that's why Coach is out. But of course, the show belongs to you. A show of the people, for the people, and by the people. So whatever the people want to talk about, throw out your questions, comments. We'll try to address as many of them as we can. Super chats always jump to the front of the line, so you can interrupt the show at any time. Just throw out a super chat. We'll get into the latest from the portal, obviously, with the Longhorns, and we can talk a little bit about the game going on right now. It's probably why it might be a truncated live stream, because I'm a Texas fan. I'm from H-Town. Texans don't make the playoffs a lot. They have under D'Amico, but I'm gonna be a bit distracted, doing a live stream. So we'll probably make it a shorter version of it. So get your questions in while you can. We're also gonna have our man Stevie Lee come on with us here momentarily as well. But gentlemen, starting things out, CJ, I hadn't talked to you since all of this happened. I mean, I was on with Marcus when the Cam Coleman news dropped. So me and Marcus, we've been vibing for a while about it. I have not talked to you since any of this broke at all. I just got to get your thoughts about where you see the state of the program, pretty much, with the latest additions to the Longhorns.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen anybody in a bit of a while. I was down for the count this weekend, fellas. I'm sorry, OTF family. I'm sorry. It's a bad weekend for the laptop to hit the port. So laptop's gone, waiting on that to get back. And then on Saturday, I felt like I was hit by a truck. So I took about 12 steps, and that was just to go to the bathroom a couple times. So I haven't been doing well over the last week. So, look, a lot of news has broken since then. How do you not get excited for Cam Coleman in this offense, right? How do you not get excited for Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown in the backfield, Rod, the return of the pony package? I mean, that's it. I mean, Texas is putting together a skill position group of maybe the most dynamic players in the country, I think, is where my line of thinking is. Now, still some work to be done, right? You got to figure out that offensive line. Still got to find yourself a second linebacker. But Cam Coleman, my goodness, how do you not get excited for that alongside Emmett Mosley and Ryan Wingo and Jermaine Bishop and Dalen McCutcheon and Talik Lockett and all the guys that are yet to be on the roster? But no, I'm over the moon for it, Rod. I think Arch Manning's in for a massive, massive final season on campus.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Everybody's excited. Matter of fact, we got to get to our guest. I want to hear how excited he is, in addition to hearing how excited CJ is. But first, let's thank our lead sponsor for today's live stream. We appreciate our friends over at Vaughn Lane, and you'll appreciate them as well, folks. We know now it's time to get back to it. Right now, the holidays are done. It's time to get back to the grind, the conferences, the meetings, that packed travel calendar. Well, if you're still flying short routes or driving hours between cities, there's a much better way. Let me tell you, Vaughn Lane, the Vaughn Lane experience, I can vouch for it personally. It is one of the best travel experiences I've ever had. I've taken it several times to visit family in Houston. I've taken it for business. Matter of fact, we powered with Vaughn Lane during our Texas tour with the Third and Longhorn folks, and it was a huge success thanks to our friends at Vaughn Lane. They deliver first-class travel experience on the ground. You board in minutes at a private hotel terminal, settle into one of just 22 oversized leather seats, and enjoy complimentary Wi-Fi, snacks, beverages, and hot towel service. And on every trip, how about this? On select departures, you'll have complimentary meals. You can actually make travel even more convenient for yourself with our friends at Vaughn Lane. You actually can charter your own Vaughn Lane if you've got a team activity that's happening, and you can design the trip from pickup to drop off. And now they've actually started to roll out the Starlink internet across the entire fleet, making complimentary Wi-Fi even faster and more reliable. Vaughn Lane serves Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, and Knoxville. And if you're traveling with a team, like I said, you can get your own Von Lane. You can check that out at vonlane.com, VONLANE.com, and use the code OTF26 at checkout to receive $20 off your first trip with Von Lane. Von Lane, your private jet on wheels. Thank you very much to our friends at Von Lane. Look, the Texans over there cooking already. All right, let's I gotta ignore it because maybe that's a good mojo. Let's bring in somebody else who has got a lot of good mojo. He joins us each and every Monday, and we are thankful for his time. My former teammate, lifetime Longhorn, man of the people, Stevie Lee. What's going on, Stevie? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
I'm better now. We're doing great now. About a week ago, it was stressful on these live streams, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They had pitchforks, Stevie. They was mad. They was angry. They were angry. You would not have thought that they were fans of a double-digit win team. They were mad and angry. And now all is forgiven. All is
relax. Forgiven. What is it? RELAX. Relax.
That's what Aaron Rodgers said. Yeah, that's right. It seems that way. Okay, so give me your thoughts about it, Stevie. We haven't spoken since, obviously a lot of the acquisitions have happened for the Longhorns, and big ones, by the way. You got Rasheem Biles, one of the best defensive players in the country, out of the portal, and then Cam Coleman, who was considered the top skilled player in the portal, in addition to Raleek Brown, and in addition to Hollywood Smothers. Damn, that's a good name. What are your thoughts about the assemblage of this arsenal of weapons? I mean, it's like the Avengers, man. It's like the Super Friends.
Yeah, man. So I say relax, but I was pissed off too. I was like, man, what the hell is going on? What is the last 4 days right now? We've redeemed ourselves. Still need an O lineman. Man, I'm really excited about the offense right now, man. With Cam and Hollywood and the kid coming out of high school. Forget his name.
Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Jermaine Bishop. Which one?
Which one is 6'1"?
The receiver or the running back?
Running back.
Okay. Derek Cooper.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm real excited about him. I was with one of the coaches. I saw some film on him on someone's phone, and it looked really, really good. And I was like, all right, okay, nice. Fun. And then you got, so in my eyes, man, we got some good looking running backs right now. And which will take some pressure off of the pass game. So I'm really looking forward to this offense and what Sark can do with the weapons that he has right now. Let's get into spring ball. Marcus, meet me out there on the fields, man. We can go and hang out and watch some spring practices, man.
I got you.
So, hey, man, really though, text me whenever you're going out there. I'll drop everything. I'll get out there.
I'll be sure to let you know.
Stevie's always fun. Stevie sneaks up and practice a lot. I don't even know. Like, Stevie's supposed to be working, and Stevie's like, "Yeah, I went to practice."
Hey, going to practice is part of my job. So
yeah.
So no, and I actually like this part of my job, what I'm doing right now with you guys, man. So that's just some icing on the cake to get out there and get some information, man. But it's fun to see where the offense is going to go, but we do need some defensive pieces out there, right? So you mentioned we might need a linebacker. You mentioned we might need 1 or 2 DBs, but I'm excited about the offense. As long as we score more points, don't we win, right?
Damn right. Yeah.
Typically how it goes.
Yeah.
See, I did want to ask you, when talking about adding defensive pieces, they did add 2 defensive linemen. One of them's 380 pounds coming in from Arkansas, Ian Jaffrard, and of course, Zion Williams at 360. Big boys playing that nose tackle spot. What are your thoughts on, kind of the health of that room, and as well as, 370, 380, is that too big?
So, yeah, that was my initial thoughts, man. I was like, oh, man, that's huge. But we can, we in the SEC, we do need some run stoppers, some block, some hole fillers in the middle. But also, we still got to get after the quarterback, man. So we got Simmons, and hopefully we can add a couple more edge rushers. But I like the run stopping. Yes, those are some big boys. I just want to go to practice and see if they can actually run. Maybe they can get after the quarterback at that size, but that's huge. That's big. Yeah. That's real big.
I feel like you almost need a little more girth inside. Don't take this out of context.
I was gonna be able to keep a straight face, and then you said it.
I really caught myself, and I was like, yeah, this is not going to go over well. But you on the D line, on the interior D line. All right, I think you're a little bit more size. So, because I think your two starting linebackers are both going to be a bit undersized, right? Yeah. I mean, Tyree Smith and I love Rasheed Bowles. He's fantastic, but he's a bit undersized. He's considered an undersized line. He's awesome, by the way, but a little undersized. So I almost wonder if that's to counter it, making sure you get enough size. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got enough meat in the middle, so we don't need it.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. See, I lost the whole point now. It's done. It's done. I will say this. I think I'm ready to make a prediction though about this run game. I think you could have the most explosive backfield in college football.
Yep.
If possible. Yeah. Looking at the
I
numbers.
like that.
Louisville is going to give you a run for your money, and that's you wanted one of the Louisville guys. You wanted Isaac Brown, but because they got a good one. I think the other kid is named Brown too for them, right? Isn't it Brown and Brown? Anyway, I hope if they kept them both. Michigan will have two coming back that are really good. The Haynes kid and I forget the kid that Marshall. Yeah, they'll have two kind of a good tandem. But Texas will have one of the best explosive tandems in the country. Stevie, my prediction: top 4 or 5 most explosive backfields in the Power 4. Easy, actually.
And then you add that with an arm like Arch has with Cam on the outside. So it's going to be a fun offense, guys.
Yeah. Again, it's going to be fun. The skill pieces are there. You got to figure out the offensive line. But again, I saw somebody post about it earlier. You have a first-team All-SEC left tackle returning. You have a guy in Brandon Baker who is 5-star pedigree set to return. Connor Robertson's going to be a 5th-year guy playing center for you, right? So he's going to have the intellect. We heard Cole Hudson last year say, this is the guy that, if I didn't know anything, he knew everything, right? So, I think you're maybe not as bad of in a spot on the offensive line, but to reach that ultimate ceiling, you got to find a guy or two to come and compete. Dylan Sikowski's a good start, but this has to be the most dynamic 1-2 punch Texas has had since Roschon and Bijan in the running back spot, and maybe even further than that. You know, I think that might be crazy to say right now, but you get a first-team All-ACC back and a first-team All-Big 12 back, and that's just the fact of the matter.
Yep. Yeah, I like it, man. And Rod, I heard y'all's interview with Goosby, and I like that kid. I'm happy he's back. He's a smart kid, and I like that a couple of the starters came back to know what went wrong earlier in last season, right? So they'll know what to fix if there needs to be a fix on the O-line. So I think if we don't get anyone else, I think we'll still be okay. I know we want more O-line, one or two more O-linemen, but I think that we'll be perfectly fine with an off-season and a camp or 2-a-days. Well, I guess they don't call it 2-a-days anymore. But,
not anymore, brother.
Yeah.
Nope.
August camp. I don't know what they call it, but you get some more practices in under your belt right there. I think we might be okay with just what we got, but I think to feel more comfortable for the fans to feel more comfortable, let's get 1 or 2 more out of the portal.
Yep. You got to get the interior offensive line. Just focus all your energy on the O-line right now, because I'm with you. Skill position wise, I don't think you need anything else. Now you may want something else, get a luxury item or something, but you don't need anything else on that offense, man. You ready to go. As coach would say, you got some GoDaddies on that offense. All right, Stevie, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate all of your obviously expertise and knowledge. It means a lot to us. And, hopefully the Texans go out there and
I'm saying, Stevie, who you got in the game?
I want the Texans to win, man. I don't really ever have a team, but being from Louisiana, I like the Saints. Being here in Texas, I want the Cowboys to do okay, and I want the Texans to do okay, man. But I also like Kyle Shanahan winning the other night, man. So So if one of my teammates is coaching, because I'm too old to have a teammate on the field now. But if one of my teammates out there coaching and Rod and Frank over
Right.
here.
Right.
Yeah, and then where's Peanut right now, man? Where is he?
Oh, that's a great question. He worked with the Bears, but
I was gonna say, is Nut back with the Bears? I think
he's with the Bears, right?
Yeah, with the Bears. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought that was the case, but yeah.
For anybody that don't know who Peanut is, we're talking about Richard Hightower.
Yeah. I don't think he don't go by Peanut no more, man.
That's my bad, Peanut. I mean Richard Hightower.
I was gonna say, we're gonna call people what we call them.
Special teams coordinator for the Bears right now. Man, he's been around now in the league a long time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that kid, he was older than me, so he dropped a lot of. He was kind of like a big brother to me, man. He dropped a lot of knowledge on me. He was in the Macomb School of Business. Real smart kid, man.
No, honestly, I got so many Richard Hightower stories because I lived with him and Kwame when I first got there. Because he was like that with everybody. When you came in as a young buck, man, would show you so much love. Him and Kwame, like basically, I slept on their couch. And that I kind of rotate from him and Joe Walker. I like slipped on their couches during the summertime because this is before they had money. So he was.
I was gonna say, man, were you homeless? Did you not have any?
Remember the summertime, you'd come up early, but you weren't on the road yet.
Right.
You had to find somewhere to stay until you actually get enrolled, and then you would stay in the dorms or whatever. So I stayed with the players. Like that was, and Matt Brown was encouraging. He was like, "No, the older guys let you stay with them. Find one of the older guys stay with." So Kwame let me stay with him. Joe Walker, that was love, man. And then so it always came when the young guys needed somewhere to stay or hang out. We always tried to show them love. Y'all know that. That's how it was, man.
Yeah, man. Sorry to get on this tangent. I'm just sitting here talking with two of my teammates. That's all.
Yeah, I forgot about Peanut, man. You're right, man. He was a hustler, and obviously it's paying off for him. Hey, Stevie, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you taking the time. Tell that lovely family we said what's up.
All right, hook him.
Thanks, Stevie.
Catch you later.
Stevie's awesome. And Stevie joins us courtesy of against our friends at Hartgrove Roofing with offices all over Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. They are the most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. If you have any concerns or questions about your roof, the choice of customers everywhere for superior, reliable service. And right now, they're actually offering a free roof inspection. If you reach out today, 512-645-3202. Go to hardgroveroofing.com. You want to know who's on your roof with Hartgrove Roofing. It won't be Stevie Lee, but he can vouch for the fine folks over at Hartgrove Roofing because they've done great work and he has a great partnership with them as well. So thank you very much to our friends over at Hartgrove Roofing. Check out hardgroveroofing.com. And while we're also thanking sponsors, let's thank our friends over at South Point Dodge as well. Because folks, whether you need a new car, something used, you need a truck, whatever your automotive needs, our friends at South Point Dodge, they pride themselves on being Austin's automotive everything. Nothing runs like Texas football and nothing runs like a Ram. South Point Dodge is Austin's Ram headquarters, and right now it's the perfect time for you to get huge savings on Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, plus exclusive perks for On Texas football listeners. 90 days to make your first payment, and they'll ship that fantastic ride to you no matter where you are in the great state of Texas or beyond. Over 600 vehicles in stock right now, so whether you need a workhorse or a weekend warrior, our friends over at South Point Dodge have you covered. Go to southpointdodge.com or go see them in person off of I-35 in South Austin, and go check them out at southpointdodge.com. All righty, let's dive into some of the questions here, folks. I know I told you we make this kind of a shorter edition of the live stream, so I want to make sure I get all the questions in. All right, let's dive into the super chats. All right. Harold, thank you for the super chat. Says Kojo, Chapman, and Coleman brothers. We confident any of them can take the next step. Flood hasn't got any highly rated interior guys in the portal. Yeah, do you want to go on hope here, guys? Like, do you and hope that Kojo gets past the injury and comes back stronger? Hope that the Coleman brothers end up, taking the leap or taking the next step, or do you want to go get the proven commodity? I feel like they got to get the proven commodity.
Yeah, ideally. Absolutely. Yeah, you want what's proven. That the challenge is, identifying the one or ones that you want and then being able to get them. And I think, one of the reasons why we've seen maybe things slow down a little bit on this end of things, just remind folks it's a dead period right now. So nobody can be on campuses. Now, granted, some other, schools have done what they've done, but different teams have had different needs, as Rod has pointed out a number of times. And so, they were focused where they were focused this weekend. And I imagine you'll probably hear about, or maybe not, but more guys getting on campus towards the latter end of the week, CJ.
Yeah, I expect that to be the case. But to the question, you got to find somebody that has done it before. And look, Andre Kojo could return and be fantastic. The Coleman brothers could, play a massive role before their career is over. Jaden Chapman, maybe he steps into a role as an upperclassman and plays very well. But you don't know that. And then you're not going to roll the dice again on an offensive line that, quite frankly, has questions again. Mm-hmm. And if you're Arch Manning, I think you're looking at the staff saying, hey, you got me all this help on the outside. Do you want me to be able to utilize this help, right? Do you want me to get the ball to these guys? If so, you got to find guys to protect me and create that offensive line around me. So I think you still look in the portal. I know Joe Brunner's a guy that out of Wisconsin, Texas is kind of in it with Indiana with. There's no new development yet on that end. But ultimately, if you want to build and construct and put on the best possible offense you can, that starts with finding guys on the offensive line to come in and protect Arch Manning.
Totally agree. And like I said, now that you've built the skill positions up to the magnitude you have, like I said, just go and get somebody who has proven it and done it already at a high level consistently. And you got good pieces around them. I mean, you got two really good bookend tackles. Well, we'll see, because there is talk that maybe if they get another high-end tackle, they could bump Baker inside too. So giving themselves options there. Also, all right. Thank you for the super chat. You got another super chat. We appreciate it. This was for Marcus. It's a great question. I want to know this as well. Marcus, have you had a chance to check out the new linebacker from Pitt? Any insights? Please give me your thoughts on Rasheed Biles. I mean, this dude, the film is fun. Like the film, you're giddy watching this dude's film. Like he's that fun to watch.
He fills up a highlight reel, doesn't he, Rod? Like he's one of those guys. He reminds me of, and he'll probably get mad at me for saying this, but when he would get his hands on the ball, he was looking to take it to the house, and he was pretty smooth with it. This cat is even smoother. Now, granted, he's smaller, to your point, Rod. And when we were trying to come up with some comps for him, I think yesterday, maybe when we were talking, the name that came to mind was the one that you said, and that would be his ceiling, right? Would be like a Levante David, but he just moves really fluently. And I think it's because, he played different positions, in high school at the skill level. And so he's kind of used to moving that way, but he when he arrives at the ball carrier or, a possible receiver, if he's not picking it off, he arrives with some violence about him, right? And so you have to have that level of physicality if you're undersized like that. But I think he's, a guy that will be ideal for Muschamp's offense and Muschamp's defense. And I've talked a lot about, some of the offenses that they're going up against. Most of these offenses this coming year, high flying offenses. They're not necessarily the ones that are looking to do it 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And so a linebacker like him right next to Ty Anthony Smith, and then as the season goes on, a Tyler Atkinson, I think is great. And he seems to be a really smart player. He's always around the ball. And guys like that are typically ones that do spend a lot of time in the film room. And I think that's something else that you can, leverage for the other guys in the linebacker room, and especially for somebody like Tyler Atkinson.
Yeah. Get me excited about that linebacking room. Marcus, I was going to say the same thing, since that when you have a linebacker that scored multiple defensive touchdowns in any capacity, that's a smart, intellectual guy. It kind of reminds me of that magical year Jalen Ford had when he was running up to the All Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. And it's like, well, he just finds the football. And whether it's film, whether it's instincts, the ball just finds him and he makes plays on it. You're sitting there, it's like, sign me up. I want more. And I think there's a little bit of that in Ty Anthony Smith's game too. So if you're looking at a corner room and a safety room that's going to be more aggressive playing the football in the back end as a result of Will Muschamp coming in, and then tie that to 2 guys on that middle linebacking room with Ty Anthony Smith and Rasheed Biles, this should be a defense that takes the ball away at a very aggressive level. And I couldn't be more excited for that. So let's see where else they go in the linebacking room. But right now, I think this is, again, anytime you're adding a first-team all-conference guy, hey, you're doing something well.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up. I just wanted to get some comparable, rankings and measurements with him. So his Pro Football Focus defensive grade If you care about Pro Football Focus, we'll get some other stats and metrics as well. But 14th in the Power 4, 28th overall. Run defense grade for him. 89.6 was 10th in the Power 4, 14th in the FBS. His pass rush grade, 82.9, was 8th. This is among linebackers, by the way. Among linebackers. Should have said that. All right, among linebackers. 8th in the Power 4, 19th in the FBS. He's got, they call it stops, is basically it's considered a play that's a negative play for the offense. Like it's not a successful play for the offense. It's a successful play for the defense. He's got 51 of those. That was 6th among linebackers in the Power 4, 21st in the FBS. And his passer rating when targeted, love this, 63, 18th in the Power 4 among linebackers. He's really good in coverage. That was out of like 247, I think, linebackers in that sample size. He's played on the edge. He plays in the box. They even put him in the slot a lot. He's lined up like outside deep on the slot a few times. Led the country in tackles for loss per game, and was, if you look at tackles per game, he was 2nd in the Power 4. He's just so productive. I always classify my front 7 guys into 3 categories. You're either a disruptor, you're either kind of a back 7 guys, say it's either disruptor, technician, or you're a ball hawk. And he's a ball hawking disruptor.
Ooh.
Yes, he just causes so much havoc. I mean, the Texans actually lead the NFL in havoc rate. They cause more havoc than any other defense in the NFL. Nobody causes more havoc than the Texans. That's forced fumbles, interceptions, PBUs, anytime the defense makes a splash play. And he is a splash play waiting to happen. Like, this stat sheet is freaky, man. Like, what linebacker has 3 touchdowns, 3 defensive touchdowns?
Yeah.
What the hell is that? What linebacker has 3 defensive touchdowns? He's got 3. He's got 2 picks for touchdown and a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, most people don't do that in their careers in college. Dude,
and to my point, that's kind of what Ty Anthony Smith was becoming when he was on the field. And that, when you pair up 2 of those guys at the same time, I mean, what do you do if you're an opposing offense? Like, how do you go about targeting a defense when there's guys everywhere that can take the ball away like that? Obviously, turnover luck is one thing, but what we did just see, to your point, Rod, about the Texans being, very havoc-minded. So are the Steelers just now. Sorry.
Yeah, don't give me a start on my Texans. I ain't even watching the game, so I'm trying to focus on the live stream because I don't want to get distracted. But yeah, I think I didn't see that. All right, thank you for the super chat. All right. We appreciate that. Aloha Traveler. Oh, Aloha Traveler with a good one.
Rod's going to get. I gotta pull mine down. Okay.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I got you. We're
Thank
in there.
you, Aloha Traveler. Appreciate the super chat. Very kind of you. Says, Aloha fellas, thoughts on the O-line. If we don't land another player, is this O-line good enough to win big this year? Tackle should be okay if they stay healthy, but I see a problem on the interior against good defenses. Can Sark scheme around it? Damn, that's a good question. Let's play hypothetical here, guys. All right. CJ, let's say you get someone, but it's not sufficient enough to really bolster the O-line. Can you scheme around basically your interior being potentially a liability, or being, the interior of your offensive line maybe being the weakest part of the O-line?
Well, I think if you're scheming around that, you're going to look very similar to what it looked like in 2025. And to that extent, yeah, you could, right? You might be able to compete against an Oklahoma or a Texas A&M, but will that allow you to be competitive against the Georgia or an Ohio State, or shoot, even in Indiana, teams that are very well coached up on the the defensive line in front 7? To me, my answer is no. So I don't know if Texas has some young guys that they feel really good about right now. Maybe they figure that out in the spring practice, but you have a portal window and you're still after some guys on that interior to go out there and make sure that you have at least, at the very least, multiple options to go piece together that offensive line. Because to your point, you should feel good about the tackles. Connor Robertson, you feel good about. But the guard spot, big question mark for me. You don't want question marks going into this year.
Yeah, No, I agree with that. I don't think they'll chance it. Can he scheme around it? Sure. And Art showed his scrambling ability, right? He was averaging almost 9 yards per rush on scrambles, 11 yards per attempt on scramble runs. So you still have him, and then you have better weapons now around Art. So the check downs will be awesome, and the obviously Sark can scheme up quicker throws, and you have better talent now at the wide receiver position to make big plays happen and create those big plays. But why would you take a chance? That kind of chance. I would be very disappointed if you went out and got Cam Coleman and spent all the money on Cam Coleman, which is awesome. I love it, but didn't address the one freaking thing that was your biggest issue all season long, and you didn't fix the problem. That would be disappointing. That's your big issue. The wide receiver position, that's a luxury. I love having Cam Coleman, and he will open up a lot of things on this offense, and he will elevate a lot of things on this offense. So I'm not hating, but I would be very disappointed at this front office, and I don't think it's going to happen, that if they looked at the issues that held them back and limited them this season, and O-line was obviously the top of that list, and they barely addressed it, that would be a failure to me. I'm not saying that it would be a failure of a offseason or anything in the portal cycle, but that would be a failure in not being able to upgrade the O-line when, like, you upgraded every other position on the offense, pretty much.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
And that's after adding multiple really talented running backs, obviously an all-world wide receiver. You feel great about some of the pieces defensively, but again, coming into this portal window, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to be consistent. The priority was always offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. You got a guy that you think could compete for a guard spot, but right now, no surefire answer. So, if the last weekend has taught me anything, it's to trust what this staff has been able to produce and pull out of the portal. But right now, hey, that spot remains a question mark. Also, Aloha Traveler, thank you very much for the super chat. I got to shout out Rocky P. Sending me this sweet hat. I don't know if y'all can read it.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Look at that.
You're throwing what? That's legit.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'm pumped up. This thing's legit. That's my new mega hat. So I'm excited. I'm pumped.
That's fire.
That is, I ain't gonna lie. That is fire. That goes, oh, is that real? Is that a real company?
Yeah.
Damn.
Rocky P.
Nice. All right. Good shot. Shout out Rocky P. We love that. All right.
I heard one maybe making a debut tomorrow morning as well.
Yes. So stay tuned. Coffee Football.
Little Birdie told me there may be another hat making a debut tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Courtesy of Rocky P. So
okay, I got it. Hold on. Who's debuting some new hat? You, Bobby? CJ?
No, not me, not Bobby, not CJ.
CJ? Okay. Oh, Jerry's got something for the folks out there. I gotta step my hat game up if we now gonna be, everybody's gonna be upgrading the hat. I gotta step my hat game up there. I might come up with a cowboy hat one day. All right, Shy Baby, thank you for the super chat. Oh, this is a good question. Who's better in your opinion, Raleek or Smothers? Raleek Brown or Hollywood Smothers? This is a good question because is it a preference? Just is one clearly better than the other one, or are we just talking about something like you prefer one or the other? Because I think they're really close.
Yeah, they are.
What are your thoughts, guys?
I think for me, I think if I'm and they are so close, what I'm about to say is a bit I guess some of it is preference and eye test, right? For me, I kind of consider, and again, I can't really think of a better way to describe it right now, so go with me, but Smothers feels like a bit more complete of a back, whereas Raleek is more of your explosive big play guy. But I think to whatever extent, like they both can, carry the ball well. And I think you don't need either of them to be a 20 carry a game guy. So it could be a bit of a hot hand approach, the scheme you're facing. I do think you'll probably see, Raleek in the passing game a bit more, but it's kind of pick your poison to some degree. And I kind of like that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think you're right, Marcus. I'm a big Raleek Smothers fan. Someone in the chat actually just pointed this out as well. I've been on the Hollywood Smothers fan train the entire season, so I'm going to lean there just a little bit. The one thing that I don't want to call Raleek Brown gimmicky, because he's not. He's more than that, right? You don't run for 1,100 plus yards by being a gimmicky back, but I do think you can do more with Raleek Brown, with Hollywood Smothers in the running game right now. Now, entirety, when it comes to adding in the passing game as well, look, that's when Brown, I think, specializes, especially getting the ball in space. We saw that with Jaden Blue. Will he be Jaden Blue? That's a tall task to fill, right? That's we'll see. But right now, you have 2 all-conference backs that you get to pick from, and that's huge.
Mm-hmm. It is okay. Let me give you an example of how close it is. So I looked up missed tackles forced between the 2. With Raleek Brown, and this is rushing and receiving combined. 65 missed tackles forced for him, which is a really good number. For Hollywood Smothers, he's at 66. I'm not joking. That's how close it is. Yak yards after contact. Brown's at 607. Smothers at 614.
Wow.
Like I said, they're so close in a lot of ways to me. It's like I said, I'm looking at 20 plus yard runs. Raleek Brown has 12. Smothers has 9. I mean, this is what I like about. I looked this up too. If you go look at 50 plus yard runs, Hollywood Smothers has 4. Only one Power 4 running back has more.
Wow.
50 plus yard runs. And he had and Raleek Brown has 3 50 plus yard runs.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's pretty wild because not a lot of running backs have 50 plus yard runs, and both of those guys you bring 7 50 plus yard runs. I don't even know the longest run that our running backs. I got to go back and look, but they didn't have a lot of 50 plus yard runs.
I don't think they had one.
I don't know if they had one this year.
I don't recall it. I don't recall it. The quarterback
Caldwell had a 50-yard run.
Yeah,
I don't think a running back did.
So I don't think a running back had one.
Yeah. So I think you guys are right. I think it's Smothers if you go with all around runner. If you go with weapon, it could be Raleek if you go with weapon wise. Yeah. So that's why I say it's kind of a preference. So if you want to just say guy that has great vision, patience. I like the way that Hollywood Smothers absorbs contact. I think he absorbs contact really well, and has great contact balance. But man, Raleek Brown, he's just juice. Just adds a lot of juice to the run game, man. So you got both. I mean, we don't have that. Luckily, we don't have to
pick. No.
We get them both. That's a good question, though, Shy Baby. Good question. All right, Jeff here with a super chat says, now Bobby can calm down. I kept telling him to be patient. We're all in. We will be fine. Good job there. I see the sarcasm there.
Well played.
Yeah, no, Bobby, like I said, I'll give Bobby a lot of props, man, because I think a lot of folks started to doubt the all in that Bobby kept championing, all season. Like, they all in. It's like, all right, they're all in. And they were all in. We just didn't like the way it looked at first. All right, next super chat. Juan. Thank you, Juan, for super chat. Do you use Kojo at guard? I guess you can experiment with it. Why not? That's what the spring is for.
Yeah, you could give him a go, but again, that kind of crosses off 2 of those red flags for me. A guy coming off of injury and a guy you have to move positions to piece together that offensive line for. So
yeah.
You could. I mean, Kojo's talented, but at the same time, at 340 pounds or whatever, I mean, does he show that lateral quickness that you need at the guard position coming off of a knee? That's the concern right now.
Yeah. I mean, you would love to be able to get through the spring without having to use him, right? I know we probably won't get any updates on him anytime soon, but, he's not even a year fully removed from his injury. So, you would like to be able to have options that didn't force you to rely on that solely. But, I mean, it certainly could be an option, by the time you get to the season.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the super chat, Juan. Jason here. Here you go. Keeping it real. Come on. We have 0 tackle depth and nothing proven inside. Connor was okay at best. We need 2 to 3 starter level linemen. I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree with that because that's what we were saying at the beginning of this offseason was, okay, they're going to need 2 to 3 offensive linemen, starter caliber guys. And just because now the skill positions look really sexy, and they do, it look really sexy right now. I mean, I don't know if anybody has a kind of sexier assemblage of talent right now than Texas does, but the Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena size, Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size, J-Lo size, but is you still have not really addressed your line. I know you got Sikorsky in there, so I'm not this, but that's not enough. And we all know that's not enough. We know that's not enough. So my comparison would be, it's like you ever go to a cookout and they got some good food. Somebody got the ribs, man, and they got everything. They got the fried chicken, you got the ribs, you probably got some mashed potatoes, you got all the good stuff, mac and cheese, all the good fixings. Imagine all the good stuff. All right. So you piling up on your plate, piling it all on there. All right. Because you ain't trying to go back and forth, trying to get in mad. You pile up the plate. But you got one of them flimsy ass plates. You know what I mean? Not the sturdy kind. So you got all this good food on this flimsy ass plate. And then you try to take it to the table and then it all go to hell. And all that good food wasted. That's what you're going to do with this offense. Because your O-line is that plate. Right? It needs to be a little more sturdy if you're gonna stack all that talent on top of it.
I like that, Rod.
Yeah,
I like that. I do want to mention this because someone commented, he was like, A&M has gone out and added 4 guys from the offensive line, and yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All 4 guys have come from the SEC, but you go and you look at what teams those guys came from: Alabama, Auburn, I believe South Carolina was one.
Couldn't run the ball.
LSU was in there. I believe it was 3 or 4. All 4 of those guys came from 3 teams that were in the bottom 4 of rushing per game in 2025. So yeah, they're adding talent, but is that the fit that you see fit, or is that another body? Right. So it's not always just as easy as saying go and get some guy from a big program. You got to find someone that has talent. Dylan Sikorsky is really interesting. Only started 6 games, played in 8, 440 snaps. Visited Tennessee, Missouri liked him. Was going to go see Arkansas. What are all 3 of those schools have in common? They run the football as well as anybody in the conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Arkansas, two-headed monster with their guys. Missouri leads the conference in rushing every year with their running backs. Ahmad Hardy was fantastic. Tennessee, very much the same. That, to me, says more than what some of these other teams have been able to do, considering where they came from and what they were able to do at those other schools.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, guys. Clifton with a super chat says, do we actually need another edge or want one? I feel like it's a luxury.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think maybe Muschamp wants another because at this point, what are we looking at on the edge? You got Colin Simmons, of course. You got Lance Jackson, Colton Vosick, Smith Orogbo. What are your other pieces on the edge? Brad Spence, you considering Brad Spence an edge, or is he off ball? And then you got the youngsters coming in, right? Wesley and
Wesley.
Wesley.
Yeah. So I could see maybe he wants a certain kind of edge. Maybe these all guys don't necessarily fit what he wants. I could see that. And if it's a great value and a great bargain, I could see Muschamp doing it. But I think it's a luxury item. I think the only thing you need right now, I think on the entire roster, I would say is O-line. I wouldn't say need with anything else at this point, honestly. I wouldn't say need. Do you need
I like that.
a linebacker?
I think so.
Yeah, I think you need one more linebacker, in my opinion. You would kind of to your same point, like Rod, you don't have as much of a luxury because if again, knock on wood, not wishing this upon anybody, but one person in that linebacker room gets dinged up and now you're kind of at critical mass, right? Whereas at least at edge, you still have another option or 2. And so in my opinion, I would think you would want one more. You would need one more, and you'd feel a lot better about your room if you had it.
Okay.
The edge conversation is really interesting because last year I think we sat here and we had the exact same conversation. So does Texas need to bring in a guy? Do they need? I mean, Ethan Burke's going to be a veteran guy. We know what they got in Colin Simmons. You like what Lance Jackson's going to bring. Zena's going to be in the mix. And then you say, okay, well, what if that guy's David Bailey? Mm-hmm. And Texas was in on David Bailey. And you sit there and say, yeah. Do we need him, though? Is he a luxury? And I don't know if anyone anticipated David Bailey having the year that he had at Texas Tech this year. But when you're after the Big 12 freshman defensive player of the year and Wendell Gregory, you bring in Jaden Woods, and you're sitting there saying, okay, all these guys are really talented. They project towards being NFL draft picks. And you say, well, it doesn't hurt. What if you could add another Colin Simmons level-esque or someone right below that to your defensive line? And I say, yeah, Bring in as many edge rushers as you possibly can. Because, look, if you were to lose a Colin Simmons, if you were to lose a Lance Jackson, is that guy right behind them going to be, up to snuff with what you've become accustomed to? If you start leaning on that and that disappears, that's as impactful a person you could have on your football team as someone that impacts the quarterback. So I say you bring him in. I say, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Good stuff, guys. A Mars here with a super chat says a lot of our players have hit the portal. What happens to the players who don't get picked up by a team?
They either become professionals, or they enroll somewhere and pay their way. That's the downside of the portal. And I think I saw a tweet somewhere, and I don't think the person meant to be crass about it, but they just said, for the volume of players that have gone into the portal, we know they're not all going to find homes, and a number of them have just retired themselves, whether they truly know it or not. And it's unfortunate, but you look around and there's no need for me to really throw out names, but like there's a handful of guys that, from a portal cycle or two ago that you'll still see from time to time saying, hey, I just need a chance. Like they're throwing out their highlight films and stuff like that's a really reality these days, unfortunately. So, if you don't get picked up, you're trying to figure out, a way that somebody will pick you up, or you're becoming a professional in something other than ball.
That's what I wanted. Guys, a guy sitting out I can't sit out a year like almost, and then get back in next year. Like I don't even know how it works when you just don't get picked up. I've never had to deal with that. The portal is all brand new to me. Juan with a super chat here says, "R.I.P. Aaron Benson, Texas Longhorn." Yes, the news did drop, and I don't know details, but.
And the odd thing, Rod, is nobody does. So I shared that chat with our, that post with our group as well earlier today, in case somebody did bring it up. But you can't find anything about this on the internet anywhere. So
I just saw it. Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, we don't. Yeah. I did see the post, but I haven't heard or seen a follow up from family or.
Yeah, I've not been able to. I tried to kind of dig a little bit in the event that it did come up. So, if that is the situation, certainly, our thoughts and prayers are out to his family. We also don't know anything beyond that same post that everybody's seeing. So, trying to be a little reluctant to spreading it, in that fashion. But certainly hope for the best.
My hope is that it would be like some kind of misunderstanding or something. Yeah, because we've had those, by the way. We've had those. But if it is, obviously that is very sad, and we don't have any details, but we are, as Mark says, he's trying to, and I will reach out. I got a couple of group texts with players. Yeah, got to figure out like what's going on and who has a still relationship with him, because I don't know him.
I didn't know him personally. I do know a couple of people from Cedar Hill though, so I'm trying to see if I hear back from any of them tonight.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Marcus, for that. And thank you for the super chat as well. Clifton with a super chat says, Hope Townsend used like number 37 for Indiana. Tight end, fullback, H, wide receiver. Love that idea, Clifton. I said before, I think he's your cowboy back, basically. That remember they brought the coach in. I forget his name. Was it McIndoe? From Oklahoma State, and he was that he came up with the cowboy back for them, which is a hybrid of a tight end and a fullback and an H back. And I do feel like Nick Townsend can be that. And Texas could use it. They did line him up at fullback, I thought, a couple of times this season. So I think he can be that. I like that idea, Clifton. That's money. Great idea, man.
I think he didn't he get a rushing attempt as a fullback?
I think you're right.
Michigan?
I believe so. I think you're right, CJ. I think you're right about that. Yeah.
I like the idea.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's got the skill set for it too. He's built the right way for it. Because he's explosive for his size. He's built the right way. All right, thank you for the super chat. Next up is all right. He got another one. It says random. We still going to grass this year? Rod and Marcus, did y'all play on grass or turf at DK? I think they are still going to grass.
I think so. I think that's been the plan, and I'm sure CDC will give another update when he does his town hall coming up.
Yeah.
Until the practice facility is built, it will remain turf. They want to be able to have grass there so you get accustomed to practicing on grass full time. On the outdoor field, That way it's not a transition from turf to grass every time that you play at home. So until then, it'll remain turf.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's going back and forth from turf to grass a couple of times. Not even going back to grass. All players prefer grass. I don't know many players who prefer turf.
Yeah, I've not come across any that do.
Yeah, I don't know many guys that prefer turf. All right, Rocky, thank you for the super chat. Rocky Poor says, CJ, I saw we have 2028, 2029 players coming Saturday. Any CJ Whaley or VY's son news coming up, especially CJ. He looks like a freak. CJ Whaley? Wow, I'm old.
Yeah. What is it? The junior day is this Saturday, I guess. It's January 17th. This last month. I have no idea what days, weeks, month, date it is. I have no idea. But January 17th is the Texas Junior Day. I've not heard anything on CJ Whaley or Vince's son. But I will say this. CJ Whaley has one of the longer in his wingspan is unbelievable. He's playing edge right now up there. I think at Texas High or PG, somewhere in that area. So he's someone to certainly keep an eye on. But right now I've not heard if they're coming to town or not.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat, Rocky Poor. Aggregate 93 says, who will be, excuse me, who will be our downhill back for short yards? That is good. That's a great question. I mean, a lot of people believe it's going to end up being the young buck, Derek Cooper, right now, unless they go get us somebody. Right? And this is how y'all feel about it? What are we thinking about?
How much? What does James Simon weigh?
It's a great question.
Could you put 10 pounds on him? You say he's 205, CJ? Okay.
Hopefully.
So yeah. I mean, it probably has to be some combination of, maybe like, the super chat had up of 205. CJ nailed it. So I don't know. Maybe he can put on a little more armor there. I mean, you imagine, that they definitely have to give Derek Cooper a shot there, but I still, I get that he's a 5-star and all, but he's still a freshman, so I just kind of want to temper my expectations on that end of things. I've seen him, working out, and he's chiseled, but he's still, relatively trim. And so I think once he gets into, a college program, that'll help him put on some weight. I mean, I don't know. They may even try Jet Walker there. It's kind of hard to say. They're both bigger style backs that, have that more aggressive running style. But I guess the hope is that you're not in a ton of short yard situations.
Yeah. I know they like using Arch in those situations too.
I think the answer to that is just as simple as, hey, your offensive line gets better and they figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah. We got to see that first.
I agree with that. That's a good point. Because what is there's Derek Cooper coming in at? Like, how big is he going to be coming in?
He's about 210.
I was gonna say he's probably 210 right now.
And that's his young. That's his teenage body.
Yeah,
but he ain't got the man body yet.
Right.
He gave him like another year. He'd probably be 215, but it'd be all chiseled up. He's kind of a workout warrior. I will say that. Like, the dude is obsessed with working out, from what I heard and what I've watched. So he may be a little ahead of things. All right, last super chat here from David says, should we begin using recruit attributes such as age or years experience? Indiana had a roster average 23 years and experience 3 stars. Is the age experience a advantage in ranking? Or greater than ranking of a player? Does this shift approach to portal strategy? We've talked about this a couple of times, David. Thank you for the super chat. I think that the stat that I saw was that their offensive starters average almost 22 years of age. So there's no doubt it is something that now has been discovered that Indiana used as a loophole or kind of a cheat code for them. I think now a lot of teams will consider it as a data point in evaluation. I'm like, no, let's take this older guy, because it does cut out. You don't have to teach the game conceptually to a young guy. To an older guy than you to a young guy, because they already understand it. And a lot of those guys, they have their grown man body, as we just talked about. They got the full armor, and they've seen so much football. So much football. I can't tell you what a much better player I was from my sophomore year to my senior year. Like, I was a different player altogether. I was an actual student of the game by that time, and I had mastered a lot of elements of my own game as a player. So I do think it's an advantage, but it won't be an advantage for long for Indiana, because now I think it's a copycat league, it's a copycat sport. Everybody's gonna copy that. Everybody's copying that now. Period. So
yeah, so if you're an experienced guy looking around to play college football another year, hey, you're probably going to come into a gold mine. I'll say this: is high school football going, or is high school recruiting going to go away? No, it's not. Could you imagine Texas without 3 years of Anthony Hill, 3 years of Colin Simmons, 3 years of Lance Jackson, Kelvin Banks, Xavier Worthy? Like, they're going to go find their guys. Their guys that they believe can become special players for them out of the high school ranks. They're going to remain very involved in that high school recruiting cycle. Now, does that mean that they're going to go out there and now fill numbers just to fill numbers to get to 25 guys a cycle? Probably not. And that's going to be the biggest difference. You're probably not going to have guys late in the cycle that they take just because you need an extra body at a position. Additionally, you start looking around at what Texas has been able to bring in so far in the portal cycle, and it's an all-conference linebacker, 2 all-conference running backs, a third-year all-world wide receiver, an all-conference corner as well. All of these guys have experience. All of these guys are producing and competing at levels that are already atop of conferences at the Power 4 level. They're already ahead of whatever you could bring in out of high school. That's just how it is. So that's where the shift will be. But they're top guys out of high school. Texas will continue to remain on, just as every other top school in the country will as well.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Sorry, Marcus, you going to say something?
No. I agree with both of you on that for sure.
Yeah. No, CJ did a great job. Nailed it. Thank you for the super chat there, David. Let's thank our lead sponsor one more time before we end tonight's live stream. Thank you to Von Lane. Now that the holidays are over, time to get back to the meetings, the conferences, and that packed travel calendar. But if you're still flying short routes and driving hours between cities, there's a much better way. Von Lane offers you a first-class trip, a first-class experience, folks. It is fantastic. I've taken it myself several times for business and for personal reasons, to go visit family. It is a great experience. You board in minutes at a private hotel terminal, settle into one of just 22 oversized leather seats. You enjoy complimentary Wi-Fi, beverages, snacks, and hot towel service on every trip, and on select departures. You can even have a complimentary meal. They also have upgraded their internet, Starlink internet across the entire fleet, making complimentary Wi-Fi even faster and more reliable. Von Lane serves Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, and Knoxville. And if you're traveling with a team, you can charter your own Von Lane, and you can even design the trip from start to finish. Visit vonlane.com. That's VONLANE.com. And if it's your first ride, you can enter the code OTF26 at checkout to receive $20 off your first ride with Von Lane. That's Von Lane, your private jet on wheels. Thank you very much to Von Lane. Thank you very much to our friends over at South Point Guide, southpointguides.com, and Hargrove Roofing as well. We appreciate them. Thank you to Stevie Lee for joining us and taking the time. Thank you for each and every one of you for taking the time as well. We really appreciate your participation. If we missed any of your questions, we apologize about that. Please direct them to the gentleman at Coffin Football bright and early tomorrow morning. That'll be at 8:15 with Jerry Hamilton and Bobby Burton. And then we'll also have your Tuesday night live stream. CJ Vogel's going to be on that bad boy with Jeff Howe. So that'll be a good time Tuesday night as well. They'll be at 7:15. Thank you, CJ. Great stuff. Marcus, thank you for sitting in as well. Please continue to pray for the Shipley family. We know your prayers have already been working because we're hearing some good news. So, hey, prayer works, and we appreciate you guys. For CJ and for Matthew and for Marcus. By the way, Matthew, thank you very much. Best in the business, the real MVP.
Appreciate you, Matthew.
He's the heart and soul of this damn thing, folks. For Matthew and for CJ and for Marcus, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.